I recently came back from a short 5-day trip to Korea to see my parents, and I decided to document everything I ate in the week that I was there. I asked some of you guys and my friends for some recommendations on what to eat and where, and this video is the result. So here's everything I ate in a week in Korea. But before I try everyone's recommendations, it's time for me to give my recommendation, which are the snacks from today's sponsor, Tokyo Treat. Tokyo Treat is a monthly themed snack box packed with treats straight from Japan shipped right to your door. And for the month of October, they're celebrating Halloween with some Halloween-themed snacks, like these apple pie flavored Kit Kats and spicy garlic chips. Each box comes with a little cultural booklet featuring snack descriptions and allergen information, and some cultural fun facts. My personal favorite snacks from this month's box were these blueberry cheesecake flavored pie bites, which were glazed with a thin layer of sugar and were super flaky and tasty. And the spicy ramen packet, which, as an instant ramen enjoyer, was probably my favorite part of the entire box. But all of the snacks were a lot of fun to try out. It felt like coming home from trick-or-treating and getting to sample all the little goodies from my haul, except I didn't have to leave my house and I'm not a child. If you're interested in getting a box from Tokyo Treat this Halloween season, either for yourself or a friend, then use my code to get $5 off your first box. A link to Tokyo Treat's box will be in the description down below. Big thank you to Tokyo Treat for sponsoring this food vlog, and now let's get back to some tasty Korean food. Day 1. So the very first place my parents took us to was Korean barbecue at a chain called Gangang Sulle. Korean barbecue is very much a once-in-a-while sort of meal for me because, as you can see, there is a lot that comes with it. With the delicious cuts of kalbi meat, we also received some purple rice with beans and pumpkin, some spicy doenjangjjigae, which is basically Korean miso soup, and of course, a plethora of delicious veggie side dishes. And at the end of the meal, we received a sweet cold tea and some puffed barley snacks. I don't actually remember what these were called, but they were super good. To save myself from the intense food coma after lunch, I got myself an iced latte at a nearby cafe. And then for dinner, we went to a restaurant called Cheomsugol and ordered their toso bibimbap, which is a stone pot rice bowl that comes packed with a ton of vegetables and meat, and this is one of my favorite dishes ever. You throw in a little gochujang pepper paste, mix it up with some egg, and you have perfection in a bowl. And the stone pot crisps up the rice at the bottom, so you get that nice little toasty golden crust underneath. So good! Anyways, we completely demolished dinner. Day 2. We started off our morning at a bagel place that was near our hotel, and I ate one of the worst bagels I'd ever had in my life, with cream cheese that tasted weirdly sweet. And you might be like, Emily, you're in Korea. Why the hell are you getting bagels? And you know what? That's fair, but my mom had seen the display pictures of the bagel sandwiches the night before, and she really wanted to try this place out for breakfast, so I kind of expected it to taste not great. This was a waste of a meal. I like my bagels dense and chewy with a nice toasty exterior, and if you also like your bagels like that, then maybe don't get the bagels in Korea. But to make up for it, for lunch, I ordered some goldungo mujurim, which is braised mackerel with radish, and this was easily one of the best meals I had during my trip. It came with rice, with some beans and pumpkin again, and of course, a small assortment of side dishes. The mackerel was a little spicy, juicy, super flavorful, and I'm drooling just remembering this meal, oh my god. Afterwards, we went to Paris Baguette to share a very mediocre patbingsu and some iced Americanos. And for dinner, we finished off the day at my dad's absolute favorite jjajangmyeon spot, which is at a Chinese-Korean fusion restaurant called Ipum. I shared a bowl of seafood jjajangmyeon with my mom, and for the table, we also shared some sweet and sour pork and these beautiful crispy fried dumplings. This place was so delicious and is a go-to spot for my dad whenever I come visit. Day 3. It was a super rainy day today in Seoul, so we spent all day shopping at the mall and also staring at all of the delicious food and baked goods being sold in the food area. For lunch, we went to the food court and ordered some cheesy tteokbokki and jjajang tteokbokki and also a side of sundae, which is Korean blood sausage. Tteokbokki is one of my favorite comfort foods. It's so chewy and saucy and savory, and I literally never get tired of it. And it goes so well with sundae, which I actually used to hate when I was a kid, but is now something that I actively crave. In the same food court, my mom bought some buttery breads that she smelled in passing from this place called Bottari Jaegwajam, and their breads were insane. They had this salty and crispy exterior, like a delicious savory crust, and the inside was just coated in butter. It was like a perfect combo of sweet and salty, and I wish I could show you what their boots smelled like because it was so good. I completely understand how my mom got drawn in because the smell alone was like a siren call.
Yeah, try it.
우리 거 있잖아, 여기.
아니야, 달라. Different.
They're different?
Oh, yeah. That's a little salty. This is just like original. This is original.
You make it look so unappetizing. We saw this booth that was selling the most beautiful looking mini cheese pies, so my mom and Didas got a blueberry mini cheese pie, which they both really enjoyed. And later that night, when we went back to our hotel, my mom ordered some Korean fried chicken. We shared a box of plain fried chicken with a side of cheese powder that I sprinkled on half of it, and also a small box of garlic soy chicken and honey chicken. A Korea trip is not complete without Korean fried chicken, and the best way to experience it is in your pajamas in the comfort of your hotel room. Day 4. So the coffee chain Holly's was advertising this horrific looking drink called a Monster Americano, and it is exactly what it sounds like. A drink with equal parts White Monster and Americano. And Didas really wanted to try it. I thought it tasted like battery acid, but he somehow really liked it. But I decided instead to drink a regular Americano with some whipped cream. And for lunch, I decided to try a place that several viewers recommended to me called Mipudong, which is a Korean-Japanese fusion restaurant. And the item that people suggested I try was their signature salmon noodles with tomato. My mom ordered the salmon rice bowl, which looked beautiful, and Didas and I both got the signature salmon noodles, which also looked very beautiful. But we thought this tasted fine. I will say the shrimp tempura was really good and juicy, but most of the bowl was just cold broth and the tomatoes didn't really do anything for me. The whole concept honestly felt very gimmicky. We also got a side of soba noodles with cold broth, and the noodles were fine, but the broth was weirdly really sweet, and I was not a fan. I think if I were to come here again, I'll just order what my mom ordered. The food was fine. It tasted good. I just thought the salmon noodles were a little overhyped. Another thing that was highly requested of me was trying salt bread, which I guess is the latest food trend in Korea, and if there's one thing Korea loves, it's trends. So I went to this one bakery in Hongdae that a viewer recommended to me and picked up a salt bread for myself. This bakery was super cute and cozy, and they were also selling this bread sticker sheet that I picked up with my bread, which tasted really good. I mean, it's salt, flour, and butter. Of course it's gonna be good. Normally, I'd be like, it's just buttery, salty bread, but I actually really like that crunchy butter crust that all the salt breads seem to have in common at the bottom. And while we were walking through Hongdae, we saw another shop selling just salt bread, so I grabbed a couple to go to snack on later. For dinner, we went to a restaurant that a friend highly recommended called Italy Gukshi, which is an Italian-Korean fusion restaurant. A lot of fusion restaurants today. And she suggested I try the truffle cheese pasta. Unfortunately, that pasta was completely sold out. So we ordered and shared the burrata and ragu tteokbokki and a crab and mushroom risotto. I was a little nervous because I wasn't sure how well Italian and Korean food would go together. And although I'm not sure these could fall under either category, they were both pretty delicious. I would be very interested in trying the other items the next time I visit. However, the only real complaint I have is they played this god-awful song on loop for the entire time we were there. The same song for like an hour straight. They lowered the volume later, so it wasn't totally unbearable, but my god, we could not wait to get the hell out of there after we were done eating. Maybe they do it on purpose so you don't stick around too long. So one of my viewers asked if I could try a cake from Baskin-Robbins, and the reason for this is Korean Baskin-Robbins has some of the most adorable ice cream cakes you will ever see, and one of the cakes that caught my eye was this 3-tier cake that had a bunch of ice cream scoops and squares of various flavors. It was like an ice cream sampler pastry stand. This is basically the solution to ice cream cake flavor fatigue. So we brought this cake back to our hotel room and shared it with my mom. It was really fun to eat, and most of the flavors were pretty good and perfect for the hot summer weather. If you come to Korea with friends, I highly recommend the bonding experience of eating an entire Baskin-Robbins ice cream cake in your hotel room. Day 5. For breakfast today, I took Daitis and my mom to a very highly requested spot called Dotori Garden, which is a very cute naturesque cafe and bakery with a Ghibli-inspired vibe. They had some assorted baked goods on display, which looked really cute and picturesque, but I personally am not the biggest fan of uncovered baked goods, even though it's a pretty common thing in Korean cafes. I just don't like that people will be hovering over them while waiting in line, and the possibility of flies having free access to everything. So I tend to avoid reaching for baked goods that are just out in the open, but I couldn't resist getting 2 of the acorn-shaped pastries. The highlight of this cafe for me was the Greek yogurt station, where they assemble your yogurt bowl right in front of you. My mom and I both ordered the blueberry yogurt bowl, and all of these items were presented beautifully on wooden dishware, and the yogurt bowls tasted really good. It was refreshing and not too sweet, and the acorn pastries weren't too bad either. One was matcha and pistachio flavored, and the other was almond flavored. Daitis and I also shared the shio brunch, which came with a salt bread, some turkey bacon, veggies, and an egg. And I cannot lie to you, this particular item did not taste good. It looked gorgeous, but it was shockingly bland. So I don't know if I can recommend any of their brunch plates, but the yogurt bowls are fantastic. It was especially hot and humid this day, so for lunch, we stopped at a quick restaurant near Gyeongbokgung Palace and ordered some naengmyeon, which are cold buckwheat noodles. It's a super refreshing dish with a tangy vinegary broth flavor, and just like the sundae, I used to hate this when I was a kid, but now it is a must-have when the summer rolls around. On the way back, we passed a coffee shop called 10% that one of my friends had actually recommended I try, so I ordered the dirty peanut latte and an Einspanner, which were both very good. Later, when it got hot again, we bought this frozen yogurt brick thing with nuts and fruit. It was cute, but it didn't taste like much, and I probably wouldn't get it again. Daitis really wanted to eat rappoki, which is just tteokbokki with added ramen noodles. So for dinner, we went to a kimbap shop and ordered rappoki and fried shrimp kimbap to share with my mom. The rappoki was tasty and super spicy, and the kimbap was delicious. The shop's kitchen was unfortunately closed at this point, and we were still hungry, so we walked over to BBQ Olive Chicken and shared a basket of olive fried chicken. That's right, baby! We're ending the trip with even more Korean fried chicken! This chicken was so delicious and crispy and juicy, and the batter was everything I could ever want from fried chicken. Day 6. In the morning, we flew back home to Tokyo, and the first thing I wanted to eat for lunch upon returning was a shrimp and avocado banh mi and a Vietnamese iced coffee. I know, it's not Japanese food, shocker. I think my craving for pickled vegetables grew stronger from all of the pickled veggies I ate in Korea, because this banh mi tasted extra good. And for dinner, Daitis was really craving tsukemen, so we ordered some. Tsukemen is like a dipping version of ramen, except the noodles and broth are much thicker, and I find it much more enjoyable than regular ramen. Day 7. Today was a very special day because I had my friends Giri and Sydney over to have a K-pop Demon Hunters watch party. And for the special occasion, Giri taught us how to make homemade kimbap. So we had a whole spread of ingredients, my favorite cup ramen, which is this like yukijang flavored ramen, soda, shrimp chips, tteokbokki. I left out a small bowl of yakgwa, which are these Korean honey cookies. And Sydney even brought over some red ginseng extract because it reminded us of the tonic juice scene. The watch party was a lot of fun, and the kimbap we made together tasted delicious. 10 out of 10. Would absolutely love to plan more on-theme movie watch party lunches in the future. And that's everything I ate during my 5-day Korea trip and the 2 days after I came back. There is a lot more food I would have liked to eat during my trip, and I would have liked to eat more traditional soups, but the summertime was way too hot for it. So I think the next time I do a what I ate in Korea, it'll be in the wintertime when it's a lot colder. And if anyone has any suggestions for what and where I should eat next time I go, please let me know.